What's up guys, this is SkyTech Freak and today I'm going to be showing you how to unlock the bootloader on the Motorola devices. I have two Motorola devices here, the Moto G style or the Moto X style or the Moto X Play and the Moto G first generation. Now before we get to unlocking the bootloader, let's just talk about why you would want to unlock a bootloader. I think one of the main reasons people decide to do something like this is because they want a custom ROM or a custom kernel, and you can use these things like custom ROMs to change the look of feel of your device. You can have a pixel ROM, you can have an MIUI ROM, which is what Xiaomi phones ship with. Kernels, on the other hand, can also either make your phone faster by pushing the CPU or limit and cap your CPU performance to increase battery life and things like that. And also, of course, there's Magisk mods and Expose mods that allow you to completely change and remap the look and feel of your device along with substrate and theme, all these things that require root and other applications that require root access. And the only way to get those access is by unlocking the bootloader, and if you so feel, you can install a custom recovery. So what we're going to be doing is showing you how to unlock the bootloader on these new Motorola devices, and also going ahead and showing you how to install a custom recovery like TWRP or Team Win on these devices that will then allow you to go ahead and flash custom ROMs on these phones. So before we begin, I have two phones that have already got unlocked bootloaders and are running custom ROMs, and I can just give you a quick look at this. This is the Moto X style or the Moto X Pure in some other regions, and we can see that it is running Lineage OS. Here's the Lineage OS logo. We can see that it is running Android 7.1. This is Nougat, and this proves that you're running Nougat. We can also see that these are the contributors involved in the Lineage OS. It's in a cool Lineage OS logo with every single contributor's name in there. And I'll just give you a quick look that we're running Lineage OS 14.1. So that, again, like I told you, is running on Android Nougat. And so while this phone did also get an Android 7.1 update, let me show you that we are running a custom ROM on the Moto G as well. And the fact of the matter is that there's no other way to get Android 7.1 on the Moto G, which is a really old Motorola device. But as you can see here, it is Android 7.1 on the Moto G. This is again running Lineage OS itself. It's running Lineage OS. We can see Lineage OS updates. Now this is running the official channel of Lineage OS, whereas this is running the Moto X style is not running the official channel, and that's only because if your Moto X style has been updated to the new Moto X style firmware, which is 7.1, what that update did was completely change the modem version, and therefore if you try to install there is official Lineage available for the Moto X style, but if you try to install that after you've installed 7.1 update to Android Nougat, what happens is the custom recovery won't let you flash it. Even if you manage to flash it, you won't get any network access. So there are unofficial builds of Lineage available that are completely stable, that are available for the Moto X style. The Moto G, like I said, running the official version. Like I've shown you here, again, we can show you the contributors of Lineage OS on this as well. So of course, Moto G in that Lineage OS logo. Now, before we show you any further, let me also show you how to boot into your bootloader, which is what you need. It's also known as fast booting. And through that, I can also show you that I have a custom recovery installed on both these devices, right? So what we need to do is hold, if you can see, the power button here and the volume down button on any of the Motorola devices. Sorry, that's my bad. You want to shut it down first, restart it, and when you restart it, you want to hold down the volume down button and the power button. And what that'll do is it'll take you into something known as fast boot, or the bootloader mode of the device, right? So this is what it looks like on the Moto G. On the Moto G, it does this little strange thing where you use the volume down button to select where you want to go, and then you press the volume up button to select it. Now that's a little strange because on most devices, you can use the volume down and up buttons to select where you want to go and use the power button to select it. However, on the Moto G, you can only go down. So if you miss it, you have to go all the way and cycle through it again. and press the power up button to select it. So since I'm showing you this custom recovery, I'm going to go ahead and press volume up on this right now and not the power button so that it reboots into recovery. Now you can see when you have an unlocked bootloader, this is the sort of message it's going to give you. It's going to say warning unlocked bootloader and tell you all the problems with an unlocked bootloader. Right, so here we can see it's running the official TeamWin recovery. This is a touchscreen recovery, and this is what it looks like on mostly any device, right? Let's do the same thing on the Moto X style. I'm going to hold the power button, restart the device, and now while it's restarting, I'm going to hold down the volume down button and the power button so that it boots into fast boot, and from fast boot I will go ahead and select the custom recovery mode. So while we're waiting for it to restart, let's go ahead and hold this down. Here we have, this is what it looks like on the Moto X style. Here you can see what it says. You can go to start, which is it just boots into the normal ROM. This will restart the bootloader, as in restart this exact mode of the device. And the third one is recovery mode, since I've installed a custom recovery. When I click that, again, you see the same warning bootloader message. If you weren't able to read it on the last one, this is what it says. And here we have another TeamWin touch recovery, right? So here the recoveries are side by side, pretty much identical. Now, I've already shown you stuff on the Moto G, and so it no longer helps us to go ahead and use this. I will be showing you the rest of the video on the Moto X style simply because it's a bigger screen and therefore it'll just be easier for us to view what's going on over there. So this is a custom recovery. Now, both these phones, the Moto G and the Moto X style, have official custom recoveries. The links for those will be in the description below, along with all the other tools that you need to go ahead and unlock the bootloader, like ADB, which is Android Debug Bridge, and if you need any drivers and things like that. Also links to websites that you will need that are required, because you will need to go into the Motorola website and log in. It's not a very complicated process, but you will have to access it maybe through your Gmail account so that you can get the unlock code for these devices, but we'll talk about that when we get there, right? So let's reboot this into the bootloader version so we can go on to the next step of unlocking the bootloader on these devices. Alright guys, one step before we begin, or before you boot your device into fast boot mode, what you want to do is go into settings, go down to about phone, and click on build number a bunch of times. Now, as you can see, it's telling me no need, you already have developer settings enabled. But when you click that enough times, it'll say 5 steps, 4 steps, 3 steps, which is basically 4, 5, 6, or 3, 2, 1 clicks before you unlock something known as developer settings. Now, in developer settings, you want to go back, you want to click on developer settings, you want to enable this thing called USB debugging, so Android debugging. And since this is a custom ROM, this doesn't have it, but your stock Motorola ROMs will all have, the original firmware ROMs will all have an option called enable OEM unlocking. OEM unlocking, and so you want to go ahead and click that as well before you go ahead and boot into the fast boot or bootloader mode that I told you to do. The way you, like I said, the way you boot into that fast boot mode is by holding the power button and the volume down button, right? So before you do that, I need you to go into settings, enable developer settings, enable Android debugging or ADB debugging, and also go ahead and enable OEM unlocking, right? So after we've done that, we finally can go on to the next step. And before we go ahead and unlock the bootloader, there's just a few things I want to make clear. This will void your warranty, or in some cases it doesn't void your warranty if you have physical damage protection and things like that. But again, any sort of software problems you have after this, it's not likely that the manufacturer that gave you your device will help you any further, or will help you without charge at least. It will no longer be under that warranty. I'm using old devices. As you can see, my Moto G is anyways in bad shape, and my Moto X style is also seen better days, and therefore I feel quite comfortable going ahead and unlocking the bootloader on these things. But I also want to go ahead and tell you that none of the methods that I'm telling you in this video or showing you how to do are mine. None of the applications you will use are mine. This is simply like a tutorial video, and I therefore claim none of the information or methods or applications as my own. I'm just showing you how to do it, right? Now, once we've gone into the bootloader mode after enabling developer settings and ADB debugging and OEM unlocking, what you want to do is go ahead and open your computer. All right, now that you have your computer started and your device in bootloader mode after enabling OEM unlocking and ADB debugging in developer settings, what you want to do is simply go ahead and plug your phone in, right? You will see here that it says battery okay. It'll probably also say that the transfer mode is USB connected and the software status is official. That is not important, but here mine says device is unlocked, status code 3. Yours will probably not say that until you've unlocked the bootloader yourself, which I have already done. But once we do this, there's also two other important things that you need to do. All right, one is when you go ahead and plug the device in, it'll probably try your computer, if it's connected to the internet, which it should be, will probably try to go ahead and download some drivers or install the device that you've connected, which is something Windows does, right? At this point, it's installing the devices that are required, the USB devices, the USB drivers for the device that you've plugged in. So for the Motorola Android phones, it's installing the USB drivers. Sometimes this doesn't work. What you can try doing is going into the official ROM, boot it into a normal ROM mode, install your device to the computer then, and it might then automatically install the USB drivers. If not, you can move the phone into, instead of USB for charging, move it into file transfer. At that point, it'll automatically install the USB drivers. If it still doesn't, you can download the Motorola USB drivers, and I'll try to put a link in the description for that. At which point, if you do have the drivers installed, of course, the second download that you need to make, or if the device's drivers install automatically, the only download you need to make is download something known as ADB and Fastboot, right? Android Debug Bridge and Fastboot. Now, a major thing that's happened is this used to be part of a massive Android SDK package that used to be over a few GB. You no longer have to do that. Straight up on XDA developers, there's someone that has made two versions of the ADB tools. One of them is even a portable one, so it doesn't even require an install. You can literally download, unzip the folder. That's the one I tend to use. I use the portable ADB devices, and what you can do is just have the ADB and Fastboot drivers on your computer for that. The other one is an installation, so you can go ahead and get the installation one. You download them, install them on your Windows computer, and then what will happen is it'll also when you do use the installation one instead of the portable one, sometimes the drivers for your devices also get installed. So if you don't have the drivers for your device, it is suggested maybe that you can use the installation version. I use the portable version because I know that most of the drivers for my device is already installed. Once you have that, just download that and know where the installation folder or the ADB folder is on your device, and that's the next step to going ahead and completing your ADB bootloader unlock. Alright, now once you have your device connected in bootloader mode and hopefully the drivers for the device are successfully installed, you have downloaded the ADB and Fastboot tools, whether they're portable or installable, you just need to go ahead and head to the folder where you've installed them. So the folder where adb.exe and fastboot.exe are in, that's the folder you want to navigate to. And in that folder, you want to press shift and left click so you get a menu. When you normally press, this is only Windows specific. When you normally press left click, you get a smaller window, smaller menu. But when you shift and press left click, it opens a larger menu, and what you want to do in that menu is go ahead and open command window here. Now, the reason I'm telling you how to use ADB and Fastboot tools on Windows, and I've given you the Windows installation and Windows portable versions and exe files, is because I'm more comfortable with the Windows one. There is a way to do this on a Mac as well, and I'm sure there's a way to do it on Linux. I will link the XDA forum for these Fastboot and ADB tools, and you can go ahead there and follow the instructions. However, once you have the ADB window opened, which is this one, everything from here, all the commands here are universal to Mac and Windows and Linux, I guess. So from here on, the commands that I type in are the same for ADB and Fastboot throughout. Now, the first thing you need to check is if your device has successfully connected in Fastboot mode. So you want to put in Fastboot devices on your computer. Sorry, that's my bad. The caps lock doesn't need to be on. Fastboot devices. As you can see, when you put in Fastboot devices and press enter, if your device has successfully connected and the drivers are all installed properly and you are in bootloader mode, it'll show you that there is a device on fastboot. That is some unique ID. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but as long as there is something that it says over here, that means your device has connected correctly, right? After you've ensured that this device is actually connected to the computer, you want to head on to a link of the Motorola website where you will get the next fastboot codes. I will tell you the link of this website, it'll be in the description. But the next thing you want to do is go ahead and to get your device IDs, first log in through a Google account, and it's best to do this through a Google or Gmail account, because when you log into Motorola developers using their Gmail account and request the code, and requesting that code really doesn't take long. It takes a few minutes. It took me a few minutes. Max, it's going to take us a few hours or even a day, but no longer than that if you've done it correctly. But my point being, you log into Motorola developers, give your email ID. I would say Gmail ID, because that's the best way you connect through Google, and you get the email on your Gmail account for the unlock code, right? So what you want to do is copy this command, which is fastboot OEM get unlock data. So once you copy that and you go into this fastboot, this thing where your fastboot device has successfully connected, you just want to paste that here, press enter, and then it'll show you a bunch of codes over here, right? Now what you want to do is, it's going to show you, since my device is already unlocked, it's going to tell you that you no longer, the slot for the lock bootloader is no longer found. However, you will get a device ID like this, right? What you want to do is copy each of these lines and paste them down here on that Motorola website here. As you can see, I've already used two different device IDs to unlock two different bootloaders on Motorola devices. One is the Moto G and one is the Moto X style. But as you can see, you just want to go ahead and each of these lines, you want to copy them and paste them, and then copy the next line without any spaces onto this thing, and then check, can my device be unlocked? If you've done it correctly without any typos and you've copy pasted correctly, and your device actually can be unlocked with the bootloader, it will go ahead and say yes. You want to then go to I agree and click when you have a correct one. Like, let's say I put this in, I do, can my device be unlocked? It checks the eligibility. It does allow me to do that. And then under I agree, you get request unlock key. I've already requested the unlock key, and let me show you the email in which it shows me this unlock key. Alright, so once you successfully put in your unique device ID into that form on Motorola developers, and you've checked if it's verified whether or not your device bootloader can be unlocked. So if there's any typos, it won't even let you verify it, and therefore it won't let you request an unlock key. So if you've managed to request an unlock key and there's no typos, and you've gotten all 4 lines of the unique ID without any spaces, there's 4 lines. The 4th line I think is a bit shorter and it's got a lot of zeros or whatever, but you need to add all 4 lines without any spaces. Once you've done that and you've put it into that form, you verified that your bootloader can be unlocked, and then you've requested the bootload unlock key, you should get an email like this within a few minutes. I got it within a few minutes for both phones, the Moto G and the Moto X style. There's no annoying questionnaire or something like other manufacturers ask you to sometimes fill in, so it's a really fast process. It could take you a few hours, it could even take you a day, but I don't think it'll take you any longer than that. However, this is the sort of email you'll receive. You're almost there. Here's the unique code to unlock your bootloader of your Motorola phone. Then it'll ask you to follow the instructions and click, there's a link given, so you click on that link. You once again log into your Motorola account, and Motorola developers will open again. This is the link it'll then take you to. You then want to, again, if it took you too long between requesting the unlock code and receiving the unlock code, I'm sure you might have disconnected your device. If you came in a matter of minutes, then maybe you haven't disconnected your device, but whatever, once that's happened, if you've removed your device, you once again want to restart bootloader mode, plug your device into bootloader mode, start up ADB, like I said, by pressing shift and right click and going into opening a command window where that folder of ADB was. Again, you want to check if you have your device connected, so you put in fastboot devices. It'll tell you that yes, your device has indeed been connected. Now go back to that link that the Motorola email sent you and it will give you a code that says fast boot OEM unlock. So you want to copy and put in fast boot OEM unlock, put a space, and then put in the unlock code, the unique unlock code that was emailed to you for your device, right? So whatever this long code is, you just want to paste that in there, and then you want to press enter. I'm not going to do it because my bootloader is already unlocked on my phone. However, once that's done, there'll be a whole it'll show you that yes, it's successful. There'll be a bunch of lines of code in within fastboot and all that. So once that's completed, and then it asks you for another input. Let me just put my phone here so there's a little bit of reference. Once all that is done, you want to do fast boot reboot, press enter. What that does is it just restarts your phone, and if you've been successful, it will say warning bootloader unlocked, right? So this is the message you should get, which you weren't getting before, but if you manage to unlock your bootloader, it's really just that simple. Now, if you've only unlocked your bootloader, there's no reason that you shouldn't get OEM updates. It's only allowed you to flash new things onto your phone. But one of the major reasons, like we already discussed, for unlocking the bootloader so that you can have a custom recovery that allows you to flash custom ROMs and custom kernels and other things like that. So now just the last step of this video is going to be how to install a custom recovery on your Motorola phone that you have already unlocked the bootloader for. Now to install a custom recovery onto your phone, what you need is to first download the image for the custom recovery. So you go to the TeamWin website. This is probably the best custom recovery right now for most devices. You go down to your manufacturer, which is Motorola, and each phone has a code name as well. So like the Moto G has the code name for that is Falcon. You can open that. The code name for the Moto X Pure or the Moto X Style is Clark. So you can go ahead and open that. Once you open the link for those on the TWRP website in devices, what you get are download links. So when you download this, you get a .image file. It'll be known as TWRP, then the version of TWRP, then the code name of your phone. So TWRP 3.02 Clark.img. You don't need to download any extra programs on Windows for how to open those image files or any such thing. You just need to download the image. Once that image is downloaded, you want to copy paste it into the same folder where ADB and fastboot.exe are, right? Once you've pasted it into that folder, you want to rename it. So like I said, the image file will be known as TWRP 3.2. whatever, and then the code name of your phone, which is Clark or Falcon or whatever else your device is. You want to remove that, and you just want to name this TWRP.image because, and the reason for that is the code that you will be putting into fastboot right now requires the file name to be TWRP, right? So now again, with your phone connected in bootloader mode, like we've done a few times before in this video, you want to go into this folder, shift right click, and open a command window here. You put in fastboot devices. You make sure your device is correctly connected. Then you go back to the same link where you downloaded this image file for the image file of your custom recovery for your phone from, and you have to then put in these two commands, which is fastboot flash recovery twrp.image. You copy this, and again, it's important that it's named twrp.image and that it's in the same folder because the command requires it to be twrp.image, and of course in the same directory as that. So you copy paste this command onto the command window, which would be whatever. Once that's done, again, there'll be a few lines of code. It'll say successful or not. I'm not going to do it because I already have a custom recovery. Once that's done, one last time, you just have to put in fastboot reboot, and when you click that, your phone should reboot into its normal phone, the normal custom ROM that came with the device. And if your phone, first of all, it shows you warning bootloader unlocked, and then it boots into the official ROM of the manufacturer, then you know that hopefully nothing's gone wrong. And the next step is to just test if the custom recovery was successfully flashed. Now once you press fastboot reboot and your device successfully boots into the original firmware or the official ROM or whatever, and you know your device is safe, what you want to do is once again reboot into bootloader mode. However, now you can disconnect it from the computer, and once you put it into bootloader mode, you no longer have to reconnect it to the computer. You can just leave it as it is, but you want the phone to be rebooted into bootloader mode. Once you're in that mode, hopefully it should say device is unlocked if your bootloader was successfully unlocked. Now what we want to test is whether the custom recovery successfully flashed or not. Now for us to test that, when you're in bootloader mode, you don't want to select start, you want to go down. You don't want to select restart bootloader either. What you want to do is go down to recovery mode and then select recovery mode. Hopefully it should also give you the signal warning bootloader unlocked. This is something that should have already happened in earlier steps of the reboot. But once that's done, it's going to show you team win recovery project 3.2.20 or whatever it is. Once you've done that, you can then install whatever ROMs. Like I have Lineage 14.1. Magisk is a way of giving systemless root access to certain phones. GApps is what you use to give Google Apps to custom ROMs that don't already have it built in. But basically now you can flash custom kernels and all that. One thing, before you install any of these things, you should do a wipe and just a complete system wipe. However, I'm not going to do that because I'm not installing a new ROM right now. But this is basically the way you do that. Before we go ahead and end this video, I just want to say one or two things. Like I said, Moto X style, if you've updated to 7.1, you don't want to install the official Lineage. You want to go to XDA, and there are certain ROMs that are compatible with the new version or the new modem of Moto X style, which is post 7.1 update. There's also ways to roll back or go back to the previous modem, but those are really difficult. I bricked my device once or twice by doing it, and then I had to put in an SD card that'll even allow the device to boot up to begin with and things like that. So it's a really complicated process. I would suggest that if you have a 7.1 official update for Motorola, only install custom ROMs that are applicable with the new modem. So while the TWRP or the custom recovery remains the same for post 7.1 or pre 7.1, the custom recovery is the same. The ROMs aren't compatible with each other. However, there are a lot of ROMs that are compatible with post 7.1. Official Lineage 14.1 is not, but stable Lineage 14.1s do exist. I'll link those as well if you want. There are also not so stable 15.1s that work with the modem of Moto X past 7.1 update. Now, just before we end, I also want to show you that on some other Motorola phones, it's possible that once you've unlocked the bootloader, rebooting into flash recovery mode is a little different. So to do that, we have the Moto G. Like I said, instead of pressing the power button, you have to press the up button. And just to show you again, the bootloader menu looks completely different in this, but the concept is the same. You don't want to do normal power up. You want to go down to recovery. And when you're at recovery, so the power button is not the selection button at this phone and in the phone's bootloader. The volume up button is. So at recovery, you just want to press the volume up. Again, it shows you the warning bootloader unlocked if you've successfully unlocked it, which hopefully you have. This will then go ahead and boot into Team Win or TWRP. Like I said over here, it has successfully booted into this. This is the Moto G or the Falcon. There is official Lineage 14.1, which you can get through the normal channel of updates. The nightlies will keep updating, so you can do that. Again, Magisk can open GApps, which will help you get Google Apps. So now, on any of these Motorola devices, if you've successfully completed all these steps, you will now be able to flash custom ROMs, flash custom kernels, and do a lot of things that earlier the bootloader prevented you from doing. So this has been my tutorial for how to unlock the bootloader on Motorola phones and how to install a custom recovery on them. I will also be doing a video on how to do it on new MIUI devices or new Xiaomi devices, and I will be doing it. I will show you how to do it on new HTC devices like the HTC 10. And my future videos will also be about possibly the LG G6, about the unofficial Google camera ports, and also just a walkthrough of Lineage 15.1 on the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2, and also how to install Lineage OS on your Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. So that's it for now, guys. This has been my channel, SkyTech Freak. If you like the video, please like the video. If you didn't like it, please dislike, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.